Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Grayson Chrisley takes low-key dig at Father Todd. Chrisley knows best fans believe Todd's youngest son Grayson may have just taken a low-key dig at him on Instagram. What did Grayson do that has fans thinking it might have been a slight jab at his father? Keep reading for the details. Grayson Chrisley takes low-key dig at Daddy? As TV show's Ace recently reported, Grayson Chrisley gained control of his Instagram profile after his father Todd landed in the slammer. Grayson wiped the information from his bio that claimed his father managed his page, and he turned his Instagram comments on. Sometime later, Grayson also went back and wiped his profile clean of anything his father had ever posted on it. Some fans couldn't help but wonder if the young man was trying to separate himself from his convicted felon father. More recently, Grayson Chrisley has updated his Instagram profile. Instead of updating his profile with a photo of himself, which is pretty standard, Grayson decided to toss up a photo of his father Todd instead. Chrisley fans were pretty quick to share a screenshot of the photo and call attention to it on Reddit. Fans were shocked and disgusted by the photo. They agreed it was very telling. Some, however, wondered if the young Chrisley may have actually been trying to take a slight jab at his father. The photo Grayson Chrisley is now using as his profile picture is a bug-eyed Todd Chrisley flipping a double bird for the camera while wearing a white shirt. On Reddit, fans admit it was a bit comical that Todd would pose for a photo flipping someone off considering he called himself a devout Christian. Here's what some other fans had to say about the photo. Some fans pointed out that this was not a photo Todd Chrisley would have ever posted on social media, as it would quickly be twisted and taken poorly. So some fans wondered if Grayson was actually taking a jab at his father by posting this photo. Grayson Chrisley has always been the quiet one in the Chrisley family. The youngest son of Todd and Julie Chrisley, he spent most of his early years growing up in the shadow of his larger-than-life siblings and his father's dominating personality. While Savannah and Chase were busy with flashy ventures, reality show antics, and podcast feuds, Grayson often stayed on the sidelines, reserved, cautious, and very careful with his words. But recently, fans think that Grayson might have found his voice, and in doing so, he may have taken a subtle dig at his father Todd Chrisley, something nobody saw coming. A different approach to family drama. Unlike Savannah, who has become the vocal leader of the Chrisley family in the wake of Todd and Julie's prison sentences, Grayson has often chosen to process his feelings in quieter ways. He doesn't go live on Instagram at midnight. He doesn't launch podcasts with attention-grabbing titles, and he certainly doesn't clap back at trolls every chance he gets. But in his rare public appearances, people have noticed something. Grayson doesn't sugarcoat his frustrations with his family dynamic anymore. He's blunt, but in a way that comes across as mature rather than dramatic. So when Grayson recently sat down for a casual chat on his sister Savannah's podcast, fans immediately picked up on a remark that seemed to cut deeper than he intended. The comment that sparked speculation. The conversation started off lighthearted. Savannah was asking her younger brother about how he's been balancing work, personal life, and the weight of suddenly being without both parents at home. At first, Grayson gave his typical short responses, but then he said something that made fans pause. You know, it's weird not having mom and dad around, but honestly, I think I've learned more about how to handle things without dad telling me what to do every 5 seconds. He said it casually, almost laughing, but the words carried a sting. Savannah chuckled, brushing it off, but the comment echoed online. Fans quickly interpreted it as a subtle jab at Todd, his tendency to be controlling, his my way or no way attitude, and the way he often steamrolled over his kids' voices during their time on Chrisley Knows Best. To many, Grayson's words felt like the first real acknowledgement that Todd's heavy hand in parenting may have left the younger Chrisley of control. It's no secret that Todd Chrisley has always prided himself on being the ultimate authority in his household. On Chrisley Knows Best, it became almost a running gag Todd hovering over every decision, critiquing outfits, monitoring dating lives, and making sure nobody did anything without his blessing. For years, that strictness was framed as entertaining television. But now that Todd is serving a lengthy prison sentence, his absence has forced the younger kids, especially Grayson and Chloe, to navigate life differently. And Grayson's comment, though lighthearted, may have been his way of admitting that living without Todd's constant supervision has allowed him to breathe a little. Fans react. Chrisley fans didn't hold back once the clip circulated on social media. Comments poured in across TikTok and Instagram. "That's shade if I've ever heard it." Grayson basically said Todd was suffocating him. Finally, someone in that family admits Todd isn't easy to live with. Low-key? No, that was a direct hit. You can tell Grayson's been waiting to say that for years. Some defended Grayson, arguing he wasn't being shady, just honest. After all, anyone who watched the show could see how controlling Todd was. Others speculated that as Grayson grows older, he might start to publicly distance himself more from his father's image, especially if he wants to build a life outside of reality TV drama. The weight of growing up Chrisley. It's important to remember that Grayson grew up in front of cameras. His childhood and teenage years were spent being filmed, edited, and packaged into punchlines for a reality audience. Unlike his older siblings, he didn't have the benefit of building an identity before fame. For years, fans saw him as the sweet little boy who got teased by his father, fussed over by his mom, and roped into his siblings' pranks. But now, at 18, Grayson is stepping into adulthood, and his perspective is shifting. His remark about learning to handle life without Todd's constant input wasn't just about shade, it was about independence. He's realizing that he doesn't need his father dictating every move. And while that might sound like a normal coming-of-age moment for most young adults, for Grayson, it carries a heavier layer given the Chrisley family dynamic. Todd's possible reaction. Of course, the elephant in the room is Todd himself. How would the patriarch react if he heard his son's comment? If Todd were free, it's likely he'd spin the moment into a teaching lesson, or perhaps even a playful scolding. But behind prison walls, where he has far less control, it's not so easy. For a man who has spent his entire life curating his family's image and running the household with a sharp tongue, hearing that his youngest son feels more capable without his guidance might cut deep. Then again, Todd has always maintained that his children are strong, smart, and capable. Perhaps, deep down, he might take pride in Grayson asserting his independence, even if it comes at his expense. A turning point for Grayson. This little comment may feel like gossip fodder, but it could actually mark a bigger shift for Grayson. For years, he's been overlooked as the quiet one, the baby, the one who doesn't stir drama. But as he enters adulthood, he might be ready to step into his own identity. One that isn't defined by Todd's booming voice or Savannah's outspoken personality. Fans are already speculating. Could Grayson eventually break away from the family brand altogether? He's expressed interest in sports, business, and even hinted at wanting a career outside of entertainment. Unlike his siblings, he doesn't seem addicted to the spotlight. And if this comment proves anything, it's that Grayson isn't afraid to share his truth, even if it means taking a low-key jab at his father along the way.